Hello once again and welcome to the Caged In podcast. This is episode 12. Fucking hell, I made it to 12 this week. Unfortunately, it's just me again. Your host, Petros. Last episode was real fun. I thought it was real fun. I hope you guys did. Max, he's a bloody lovely guy, isn't he? Had loads of fun watching Vampire's Kiss. It's fucking bananas. Again, just check out, if you don't want to check out the whole film, just check out the YouTube clips. It's the first real Nick Cage, standout performance of just being a fucking nut. But let's get on to the proceedings of today's episode, which is the 1989 film Time to Kill. This came out the same year as Never on Tuesday and Vampire's Kiss. Obviously, it looks like it was a busy year for Nicolas Cage. Never on Tuesday, he was in it for about 30 fucking seconds, so I don't think so. He only really did 2 films this year, let's be honest. As always, let's get the rules over and done with nice and early. Those of you who never listened before, I've got 2 real rules in place. No expectations, no distractions. And they go as follows. So, no expectations. Like this film, like many before it, like many to come, I know nothing about this film and I want to keep it that way. I want to keep it fresh. I want to go into it as if I'm seeing this as it came out. Like I mentioned in the last one, I want to have that experience of going into Blockbuster, seeing a film called Time to Kill, seeing it's got slippery Nick Cage on the front cover and going, yeah, that's what I'm watching tonight. I'm not reading the synopsis. I'm not thumbing through, I don't know what they would have had in 1989. I'm not rummaging through magazines trying to look at reviews. I'm just taking it home, putting it straight in the VHS player and going for it. So, nothing. No IMDb scores, no Metacritic, no Rotten Tomatoes, no Roger Ebert. That comes at the end. What I do is, I say what I think of the film and then I see if my opinions match those of the wider world. Am I out of touch? Am I in touch with it? I'm not going to be too butthurt if my opinion's totally different. It could be that I'm a fucking renegade. And then there is no distractions. Yeah, I can't stress this one enough. Even with Max, we literally sat in the dark, both had notepads, both taking down notes, both off the grid. So no phones, no laptops. We chatted to each other throughout it. I've got to have a little fun. Obviously, the punishment came in the first 10. I was watching them completely solo. Now I have the chance to have people round. So nothing. No distractions. Blinds closed. Lights off, just really immersing, probably giving these films more attention and they deserve, but fuck it, a lot of people worked hard on these, even if they're not great. Let's just, I feel that cinema, probably films in general, should have this level of respect anyway, but it's a lot easier said than done. So because I will with these. It kind of, let's be honest, if a film is shit, I would look at my phone. So it's on airplane mode. It's down. that's enough of the rules. So I'm going to immerse myself in the Cage. Those of you who don't know about it, it is a 360 VR, like, just nothing but Cage. It's fully immersive. It's fucking nuts. I was meant to get Max to enter the Cage. I totally forgot. We'd been chatting. We'd had a couple of beers. We were like, fuck it, let's get into. It was getting real late as well. We're like, just let's watch the film and then let's just get on and record. And yeah, but I'm gonna do that, and then when we come back, we're gonna get into the ridiculous nature of Nicolas Cage. Feels like I've been awake for days, watching films starring Nicolas Cage. Could be shit or it could be fun. Valley Girl, Face Off, An Army of One, Deadfall Cornell, Lord of War, The Wicker Man, Trespass, and so many more. Know how it starts, I don't know how it ends. The first 10 are solo, then it's me and some friends. No distractions, no expectations. Over the weeks, hear my frustrations. I guess the podcast is about to begin. I'm your host, Petros, and I'm caged in. Right, so as always, the Cage was a living fucking hell. Yeah, as I said, previous ones, so much Vampire's Kiss in that. Like, just check it out, just have a go at it. It's fun. I wouldn't probably recommend doing it as much as I do it because it's a novelty. 5-10 minutes, like, you've had enough. But yeah, let's get rocking and rolling with it. So again, time to kill. I literally know nothing about this. I'm gonna load it up, get it in, and get raging with Cage. So guys, there's certain things you come to realise and find out when you don't know anything about a film. Certain things you don't know about it, like the film you're about to watch is in Italian. That's right, this film is actually dubbed in Italian. Well, I assume it's only Nicolas Cage who's dubbed because every other actor in this film is Italian. Like, the main cast are Italian. Let's start off with what the fuck happens then once I got the shock out of my system that this is in Italian. I'm going to be reading subtitles, making it slightly harder to kind of take notes. Kind of had to pause it a couple of times to just write stuff down because I didn't want to miss any of the dialogue. I had to rewind it a couple of times to read some of the dialogue, busy writing down notes and stuff like that. So I really had to fucking pay attention with this one, guys. So I think you'll bloody appreciate it. So yeah, where do we start off? Well, the beginning. Starts off, Nick Cage, our main man in this one, plays a guy called Enrico. He's an Italian lieutenant in Ethiopia in 1936. And he just gets up one morning real early, says to the guy sharing a room, I gotta get out of here. I got toothache. On his way to the doctor, he's been transported by a guy and they have a car crash. We then see a convoy of trucks coming the other way and they talk to the guy who was driving the van, and you find out that Enrico has gone rogue. He's just disappeared. And people go on the hunt. They're like, "Where the fuck is he? Where's our American import in this Italian production? He's gone walkabouts." And then we kind of see everyone getting ready, and we see the next morning and a guy getting ready. I believe it's Mario, the guy that he shared a room with, and Cage just turns up. And he says, I was lost. I got lost on the way back. I tried to go to a construction site to see their doctor. I just decided to walk. I was in so much agony. And then we see him get his tooth pulled out, which looks fucking horrible. I'll tell you that for sure. yeah, so Cage and Mario, or Enrico and Mario, are discussing, and Enrico asks him a question like, how long do you reckon it would take for someone to die from a stomach wound? It seems like quite an odd question, but then he goes into detailing what actually happened in the 24 hours or so he was missing. And it's pretty fucking action-packed, I tell you that, guys. He walked to the construction site, like, he just left the guy there and said, that's it, I'm going, like, whether you like it or not, I'm off, because this tooth's doing my head in. Yeah, and he meets this young guy at the construction site who, like, tells him, hey, you can get back to the camp really easily if you take this shortcut kind of through the woods. You get to a lake, and then you follow it left, and you'll be straight on the road back to where you need to be. So he does so. See him kind of walking through the jungle and stuff like that. And probably one of the most surreal things. Well, I've seen some pretty surreal films, but like fucking nuts that there's a lizard on a rock. So he picks him up. I think, oh, that's quite nice. He's just having a look at the little lizard. He puts a cigarette in his mouth and just lets the lizard go. Like, what are you doing? Not only have you invaded Ethiopia, guys, you're then putting ciggies in lizards' mouths and getting them addicted to fags, and they won't be able to get cigarettes because they're lizards and they don't understand they don't understand cigarette, like they don't understand how to buy them or how to roll them and stuff like that. They wouldn't know. Even if you gave them an unlit one, they probably wouldn't be able to light it. It's just very irresponsible of him. Like, it's one of the first of many irresponsible things that Enrico does. He falls over in the jungle as well, cuts his hand, and then just after this, he finds a lady swimming in a lake. Not the lake he's looking for, though. It's kind of a pool, and there's a waterfall. He asks her for directions. She doesn't understand a word he's saying. He tries to bribe her with soap. That's how you do it. That's how you get people to do what you want. You can it's a bar of soap, mate. It's got it from Lush. Have a go, and that'll sort you right out. Then it got really weird for me because she comes out of the water and he kind of awkwardly touches her on the arms, and she runs away. Rightly so, I reckon. Like, he seems pretty creepy. Like, you don't really know anything about his character this time. He seems like a fucking weirdo. And then, yeah, she runs and gets dressed, and he like pursues her, and then undresses her again, and she doesn't seem into it, guys. Like, yeah, it feels like what it looked like to me. Like, I got very confused because it definitely seems like he raped her, and it's fucking hell. Like, but then the next shot is her holding his hand, obviously post coital hand holding, and really confusing. What was it consensual? Was it not? And then he opens his bag and gives her, like, wants to give her a gift, and he gives her a Bible, and she's looking at his watch, so he takes it off and puts it on her, and she kind of becomes besotted with him, and he tries to leave, and she chases after him, and I'm guessing, like, because she kind of holds his hand again and then motions down, like she falls, well, not falls, but like she lowers herself down to the ground and get that classic fade to black. And yeah, I'm guessing they had sex again, at which point he says he fell asleep. When he wakes up, she presents him with some bread and some eggs. Raw eggs, bearing in mind, which he cracks open with a little knife and just fucking drinks an egg. It's horrible. And he does her a drawing of a lake, like really Pictionary, basic lake, and she knows nothing. She's like, what the fucking lake, man. Like, I have no idea what that is. Like, she doesn't know. So he then, stroke of genius, draws a crocodile. She knows exactly what he's talking about. Takes her to, she takes him to the lake, and you see crocodile. Fucking hell, there's crocodile. And it's now starting to get late. It's starting to get nighttime. I've just got to say one thing all the way through this. Ever since he met this girl, no toothache all of a sudden, like a miracle cure. I don't even know why he had to get it ripped out the next day, because it seemed like just having a bit of how's your father, and all of a sudden he is right as rain. He is fine and dandy. It's drawing to night, so they hide in a cave and decide to sleep there for the night. During the night, they're woken by hyenas, and Enrico fends them off by shooting at them, but does not foresee what is about to happen. I didn't I thought something might be going down, obviously, because of his cryptic question of how long do you reckon someone would die from a stomach wound. A ricocheted bullet flies back and hits the woman in the stomach. And then we kind of get the story of how he hid her body, and there's like how he cleaned up the crime scene in some kind of caveman crime scene clean-up, and says he washes his hand in the waterfall, and he said once he'd hid the body, he realised, oh shit, she's got my watch. He doesn't want to get found out, so he sneaks back and grabs the watch. He seems like a fucking piece of shit, to be honest. And then when he's at the waterfall in the morning, he sees an Ethiopian tribe, and they're like playing violins and stuff like that, and he hides out of the way because he doesn't want to be seen. And then we jump back to him telling the story, and obviously it's done. Like, that's it. Like, he says, like, what should I do? To which Mario replies, well, it'd be a waste of time to report it because they're just going to quit you anyway, and it doesn't really matter. Then they're interrupted by a mail call, and we have Cage sitting out reading a letter, and Mario's like, oh, who's the letter from? Is your wife? And it's like, oh, just when you thought he couldn't get any lower, not only is he out there, may or may not be raping ladies, he is a married man. He's a naughty fucking boy. The army are then called out to do a patrol because some shit's gone down, basically, and they find a load of people have been massacred, and amongst those people are some of the people he saw earlier in the procession, and the gentleman who had told him how to get back to where he needed to be. So he's kind of shook up. He's like, oh, fuck. I guess that part of him is worried that obviously they might find the body, and that might lead to even more suspicion because the rest of them are kind of out in the open. There's no trying to hide it, whereas his is clearly hidden because it's buried in a crevice. He revisits the cave where they had spent the night together, and he looks lost. Like, he looks forlorn. He looks upset, as he would be. The men then head back to camp, where Enrico is invited to a lunch. Well, you don't really see him invited to a lunch. He kind of sits down to a lunch. It's pretty awkward. Like, the guys in there kind of ignore him when he comes in. He apologises for being late. And then all of a sudden a guy stands up and says, let's have an applause. You know, what the fuck is going on? And it turns out that Enrico's been granted leave to go home and visit his wife. And all the men are like, oh, brilliant, you have to send us some wine from Italy. And they're all jovial. And then we see Enrico and Mario just getting fucking bladdered. They're getting pissed. They're having a good time. And Mario says to him, do you love your wife? He's like, of course I love my wife. So let's drink to your wife then. And then Enrico starts arguing with Mario. Kind of, his mind is plagued by what had happened the day previous, obviously, and he's saying like, "Oh, it could have happened so differently. How would you would have reacted differently?" And then Mario's like, "Don't worry, she would have been killed anyway. Obviously, this village they've been wiped out. Like, there's nothing would have been different." It's like, the blood. Obviously, the blood is on his hands, so he can't forget about it. But what does Mario do? Like, what does anyone do when stuff gets tense? He starts singing. He just starts singing. Like, I don't know what he's singing. It's in Italian. Sorry, guys. And then they just start dancing, like ballroom dancing together, up and down, up and down. And then the Major comes, and he does not look happy at all. He takes them, he's like, "You've been drinking, you've been getting on a piss." Supposed to be men of the army, supposed to be upstanding citizens. He takes them to his barracks, and he's like, "That's it, you're in for it. You guys better start giving me some answers now." And that mayor's a fucking joker. It was all a ploy. He gets them back there, and he's got the whiskey, he's got the cognac, he's got some cigars. They're loving it. They're having a good time. They're having a laugh. They're having a joke. And Enrico and Mario discover that there's some stolen weapons in the Major's cabin. They're like, "Oh, maybe he's a dodgy arms dealer or something." And they decide to go out for a midnight patrol, like prowling the town, the old dirty boys. The Major's like, "Hey, you guys should go talk to those two girls over there." And Enrico's like, "No, I'm not interested." Mario very much is. He's going over there. He's puffed his chest out. He's ready to talk to the ladies. He quickly comes back, and the Major finds it hilarious. And turns out that these ladies have leprosy. And the Major says to him, "Yeah, they'll sit there for years. One of the signs of a lady with leprosy in this town is a white turban." And it dawns on Enrico, because Mariam, the lady he had met in the waterfall, the lady he had given a bar of soap to, the lady he had slept with, the lady who had treated the hand that he had cut when he was in the jungle, was wearing a white turban. And his face drops. He stands there in the rain. They call after him. The guys call after him, like, Enrico, you got to get back. He's fucking devastated. You see his hand, it kind of looks septic. It's it reminded me slightly of the like growth or like scab on the arm of Jared Leto's character in Requiem for a Dream, and it just felt from that point things are not gonna get good at all. There's a young boy outside of Enrico's tent at night, and he calls him in and says, like, "Who?" Like, "Elias, like, Mariam, that was your sister, wasn't it?" And he's hesitant to answer, and he's like, "The bald man, Johannes, that's your father, isn't it?" And he doesn't answer. He's like, "Your sister was sick." You see, he's emphatic. He's like, he's angered, and the boy agrees with him, and he's just sent on his way. The next day, that's it. Enrico's like, "Fuck this shit. I'm out of here. I'm getting back to Italy as soon as I can." En route, though, he goes to see a doctor. And he chats to the doctor. He comes in with a classic line of, I'm kind of asking for a friend. I'm like writing this novel about, like, I was thinking a gentleman comes over here, gets involved with a lady, and gets a tropical disease. Like what type of thing? I'm kind of thinking like perhaps leprosy. Like what would be the ways that would happen? Like what are the symptoms? So it happens that the doctor's like, perfect, I've got a book for you. All the time this is happening, Enrico's got his hand in his pocket. And then when the doctor says to him, oh, don't worry, you can keep the book, he goes to catch it with his left hand that has been firmly planted in his pocket. And you can see in that moment in the doctor's eyes that it twigs. He's like, there's no friend, there's no novel. It's you fucking dirty bastard, you twat. And they kind of skirt around the issues. So, with your friend, like, what does he have at home? Like, how will this novel pan out? Like, and he says to him, let me have a look at your hand. And then when the doctor turns, he goes to shoot him and misses, and then flees. He then gets to the port. He gets on a boat, and a sailor says to him, "You can't leave on this boat because your papers aren't stamped." And he's like, fuck. He knows that the doctor would have called ahead, and if he goes to the office to get his papers stamped, it's not going to work out. He's going to be either be detained and kept, or he's going to be put in a leper colony. So that's it. He's like, I'm off. He sleeps rough. And he goes to, the next day, he goes to a bar in a town. Like, a lot of this film, stuff just kind of happens. There's no real, there's not a lot of exposition, really. Like, I don't know, not that I like to be told what's going to happen or anything like that, but yeah, it's just like all of a sudden the scene cuts, he's there. We don't really know how he knows at this bar. Like, he can go in and talk to someone about getting on a ship, but he just does. They say to him, it's going to cost you like 30,000 lira. And he's like, I haven't got that money, I'll pay you when I'm back in Italy. Like, no, that's not how it works. So he's stranded, that's it. He's back out on the streets. And all of a sudden, who does he see? He sees the Major. What a fucking turn of events. And the Major says to him, let's go for lunch. And over lunch, Enrico sees that the Major's like, I just have to quickly do some business. And you see him looking from a distance, and he can see that the Major's just got a vast amount of money, probably from an arms deal. And you can see the look in Enrico's eyes that he's, that's my ticket out of here. I'll stick with the Major for a bit, and I'll take him for every bloody penny he's got. They then travel back, are planning to travel back to base camp, and on the way the Major's like, I gotta go for a wee. Then leading for the perfect setup. Come on, guys, you all know where it's gonna go. Whilst he's having a wee, Enrico takes the bullets out of his gun, takes the money out of his wallet, and says, all right, Major, that's it. See you later. I'm off. The Major's confused, like, no, I thought you were coming back. Like, he's like, no, see ya, I'm off. Bye. And then he's walking down the road, and the Major's van pulls up in front of him, and he's like, you stole my money. You fucking stole my money. I know you did. He's like, yeah, I did. And there's nothing you can do about it, because he knows that the gun's unloaded. He knows that the Major is an arms dealer. So it's like, if you rat me out, I'm ratting you out for being an arms dealer. Then we get him sat in a pile of rubble, sleeping rough again. He's reading his book on leprosy, and it's not looking good. He keeps checking his hand. He's like, I'm fucked. He's just desperately trying to get back to the town, to get back on the boat. tries to steal a horse, and the horse runs into a village. In that village, he sees Johannes, the man who is Miriam's father, and throws money at his feet and says, "That's it, I'm staying here, like, whether you like it or not, I'm staying." And he kind of holes up in this shack for a while, and you get a little scene of him rolling a cigarette and just lighting it off of a fucking massive flame, literally a fire, and he's there just lighting his cigarette, fucking lucky his face didn't go up in flames. Cage, you crazy bastard. Comes out one morning and finds that Johannes isn't there, and kind of wanders about the village and finds a shack that's got the Bible that he gave Miriam, and then realises that is where she lived. It's kind of confused me slightly though, because I kind of got the impression that in the time they were together, they never left each other, unless she went back to the village when she got the eggs. I'm not 100% sure. It's not made very clear, to be honest. And he talks to Johannes. He's like, "I want to stay here. I'm sick. You need to look after me. I'm sick. And it's your daughter that made me sick." And he says, "I don't know what you're talking about. Miriam wasn't sick." And then it's like, what the fuck? What is wrong with Cage then? Why does he think he's got leprosy? Has he got leprosy? Hasn't he got leprosy? And he says, "I need to tell you the truth of what actually happened to Miriam." And it's pretty fucking dark. I'm not sure if this is something that he left out of the story that he was telling to Mario, or that this is the ricochet didn't happen, but he puts like a cloth over her head and shoots her in the head. I'm not sure if that is a reaction of, obviously, because she was badly wounded, he needed to put her out of her misery, or that for some weird reason he's just a sick fucker, shagged her, shot her, and buried her. I hope it's not that. I hope it is. I hope it definitely is. It was to put her out of her misery. I don't know. He could have at least tried to take her to safety and get her fixed, but he didn't. And I think this is something that weighed upon him. I don't know. He is pretty fucking shady after that anyway. So, yeah. And he shows Johannes to where he buried her, and Johannes like lifts up his walking stick, lifts it up as if he's got twat him, lets out a loud scream, and then just puts his walking stick back down to the ground. It's kind of, he's exhaled all of his anger, and he's done with it. And then you see a really nice scene of those two kind of getting along in the village, putting up a porch, and Johannes rubbing like a kind of ointment and cream into his hand, and it looks like he's healing. And then we get a voiceover telling us about how the war, like the Italians are leaving Ethiopia, and it looks like stock footage. It's in black and white, but it's not, because you see Enrico there, and he gets aboard a boat and he's chatting to Mario, and it kind of says, "Oh, it was all like a strange dream. I know one thing's for sure though, it's healed," and shows his hand. And then we hear Mario's voiceover saying, "I never saw him again. I didn't really want to." And you're kind of left with a seed of doubt in your mind, like, was Enrico a good guy? Was he a bad guy? Was he a piece of shit? And that's really it for the film. Then it's over. And I don't know if you can tell by my tone of my voice, I kind of felt underwhelmed with this one. It was a real fucking shock to the system that it was subtitled. Obviously, I wasn't expecting that, but something I'm going to have to come to terms with. These films aren't going to be as I expect because I have no expectations. I don't really know what is going to happen in them. So just got to be prepared for anything. Yeah, there was parts of this I was really engaged, but then there's parts that I just thought, I couldn't get on board with I found the relationship stuff. Obviously, the first sex scene, it just made me feel uncomfortable. Kind of, I didn't really agree with his character and a lot of the things he did. I liked the Ennio Morricone score. That was really fucking good. But apart from that, yeah, it was as I said, it was very underwhelming. It's enough of what this idiot has to say about the film. I'm going to go on over, have a look online, check out some scores. So I'm going to try and find 3 scores. I know there's never on Tuesday. There was 1 score. People avoided it like the plague. They avoided it like lepers. So the ones I ideally try and go for are IMDb, Rotten Tomatoes, and a Roger Ebert score. But I'm going to pull it up on Google now and see what the 3 scores are. They tend to give you 3 scores on the homepage. So let's have a look. Time to Kill. IMDb score is 3.5 out of 10. I said that wrong. It's 5.3 out of 10. Sorry about that. Again, kind of middling, average. I feel like I nailed that slightly. Movie pilot, 4.6 out of 10. Obviously, it's not one of the ones I usually go for, but these are the 3. These must be the 3 main scores that they have. I'm not sure how the algorithm on Google works. I'm not really going to start looking into that type of thing. And Letterboxd give it a 5.7 out of 10. So yeah, I'm kind of averaging out. That's probably going to be 5.3 is probably an average score with that one. It wasn't great, guys. I'm kind of I'm doing you a favour. I'm out here watching these, so you can skip them. If there's a blinder, obviously I'm going to tell you. If there's something like Vampire's Kiss that's so bad, it's so good, that you guys just need to check out, I'm going to tell you. And if there's stinkers like this, if there's stinkers like Never on Tuesday, I'm going to let you know. You can give them a wide berth. Let's talk about what we have coming up. So we are 12 episodes down, and the next 4 films we will be looking at are Firebirds, that was released in 1990, followed by episode 14, which would be Wild at Heart, which would be me and a guest, and that guest will be Martin Huxter, local Brighton comedian. He is performing at the Brighton Fringe, and there'll be more details on that on his episode, which I said is Wild at Heart, also released in 1990. Then it's Zandali from 1991, followed by Honeymoon in Vegas from 1992. So we got a lot of good stuff. Well, potentially good stuff. Yeah, I'm actually going to get on and record the episode for Firebirds straight away. I'm kind of ruining a bit of the podcast magic for you guys. I'm not sure how you think I record these. Sometimes, currently my girlfriend is away for 2 weeks, and to keep myself preoccupied, I am kind of recording as many podcasts as I can. because I don't have that awkward thing of her being in the flat and me getting self-conscious about talking into a microphone on my own. So yeah, it's either just sit about all day or do something that's relatively productive. I'm not sure if it is. You guys can always let me know if this is productive or informative or fun in any way on social media, which is at CagedInPod, Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Yeah, any comments, good or bad, just let me know, guys. Like, I don't know, like I've said it before and I'll say it again. I kind of don't know if I'm just screaming out into the wind with these or if people are actually listening. Like, I'm not sure if the stats I see on numbers are just people I've said, can you please set it to auto download and subscribe on iTunes, or if people are actually out there listening. And if you are, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at CagedInPod, or just drop me an email with any questions, how you finding the podcast, or just anything, guys. Any funny articles you see. Like, I keep posting stuff on all the social medias of like funny shit I see, and like I make these stupid like photos and stuff like that for the podcast. Yeah, just get involved. It's one man's stupid journey, but it could be many men, could be many women, could be many people's lovely stupid journey through the ridiculousness of Nicolas Cage. But as always, guys, I've been Petros Patsilivus. I've been caged in. You've been rad. Bye.